officer at the headquarters Central Naval Command in Bayelsa. Thereafter, I was appointed as the commander of Nigerian Navy ship Victory in Calabar. As fate will have it, from Calabar, I was posted back to Enegua as the Chief Staff Officer, Headquarters Central Naval Command. After a stint of about a year, I was reappointed the 12th Flag Officer of the same Central Naval Command, covering Bayelsa, Delta, Imo, Kogi, and Anambra states. I was also privileged to serve as the Director of Operations at the Naval Headquarters, where I oversaw the planning and execution of naval operations in maritime domain as well as internal security operations across Nigeria. I was also privileged to have served as the Chief of Safety and Standards at the Naval Headquarters. From there, I was appointed the Chief of Defense Civil Military Relations at the Defense Headquarters, from where I proceeded to Nigerian Army Heritage and Future Center as a Senior Research Fellow. That is the current appointment I was holding before I was nominated as the Chief of the Naval Staff. Among my decorations, I hold the Forces Service Star, Distinguished Service Star, Grand Service Star, and lately the Defense General Service Medal. I am a member of some professional bodies, amongst which are the Nigeria Institute of Management, Nigeria Institute of Professional Security. At my leisure, I enjoy playing hockey and driving. I am happily married and blessed with 2 sons.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, as Chief of Naval Staff, your activities have direct bearing on the economy of the nation, particularly when you view it from the standpoint of oil production, oil theft, vandalization of pipelines, and piracy and others. So you will permit me to call on 1 or 2 people to ask questions before we go into closed session. Distinguished Senator Abiru represents Lagos with a lot of water. And I think they are trying to build a second seaport. Is Senator Abiru? Okay. Senator Dafinone. Senator Dafinone, would you like to ask any question?
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, Ide Dafinone, representing Delta Central. My question for the nominee for Chief of Naval Staff, against the background of his illustrious career, varied experience both nationally and internationally, is for him to tell this distinguished House his plans for the development of the Nigerian Navy, especially in relation to the emerging threats, and what support he intends to provide to the other security agencies. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, distinguished Senator Oshomole.
Mr.
Mr. President, sir, thank you very much for this privilege. I believe going through the CV, and even before the CV, I believe the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces and the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria must have already satisfied himself that you have the formal training to enable you to do the job for which you have been nominated. And I think the nomination is the word, not appointment yet, because we have to confirm. But I find interest in some of the points made about de-radicalization. It doesn't matter whether it's Army, Navy, Air Force, it's all armed forces. Given our experience in the past where some Boko Haram people who were captured, and to use the word of the chief of, I believe, Army staff, who talk about people who have committed heinous crime, be reintegrated. Not a few people wonder how you can describe, on the one hand, somebody, a heinous criminal who has killed and maimed children and women, that you can reintegrate him into the larger society. And many have argued that some of those people in the process take advantage to familiarize themselves with the new environment and go back to what they have been doing, which then defeat the entire effort that you have put in apprehending them in the first instance. So this whole concept of de-radicalization is an issue for me. And Mr. President, you just took it from my lips, sir, that I think the Navy has a good role to play. From all that I've heard from people who know you, I understand you can fairly be described as a no-nonsense officer. And therefore, the Navy will be under your command in very good hands. I am clear about that. But what will you do to ensure that these leakages that we still experience in oil bunkering, our president has rightly asked this question, because there are a lot of mixture now between Navy and other non-state actors involved in protection of our oil wells. And then lastly, the issue of, recently we had proposal for setting up of a marine guide, and the House was divided whether we need to have another outfit specifically devoted to water security in addition to the Navy, or whether is it not better to re-equip the Navy and strengthen it so that we have the capacity to further reinforce what it's already doing to protect Nigerian waters across the country. Thank you, Mr. President, sir.
Distinguished Senator Wadada.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, distinguished colleagues, I remain Senator Ahmed Wadada Aliyu, Sarkin Yakin Kefi, Magajin Dengin Lafia, and I represent Nasarawa West Senatorial District. While I congratulate the nominee and also to buttress what Senator Adams Oshomole said, the little I have known or heard about the nominee is that he is an effective officer. Mr. Nominee, the Navy is meant to take care of the waters, both territorial and inland. But the concentration over the years has been on the territorial waters. The inland waterways, because of the sophistication in crime today, I will want your administration to give attention to the inland waterways as well, so that the criminals in us, or amongst us, will not be able to use the inland. No, of course, the criminals amongst us. I have, Mr. President, sitting as chair, can you please protect me? I know what I am talking about. My colleagues.
Senator Wadada, I'll be surprised if you did not go the route you are going. Why they are murmuring is that the criminality in us. So, and they are saying, no, if you have criminality in you, we don't have. So what you need to do now?
It was slip of the tongue, and I quickly corrected it. The criminals amongst us. Amongst us, not amongst us here as a people. You are sitting.
Distinguished colleagues, those who have accepted his apology say aye. Those who have refused to accept his apology say nay. The ayes have it. Your apologies are accepted. Please just ask the question.
Thank you very much. From Benue to Lokoja, this area or areas constitute part of the inland waterways, and which is why, as a representative of one of these areas, I have been in communication with the Office of the Chief of Naval Staff on the need to establish a naval base in between Benue and Lokoja, which should fall in between, in Umasha or somewhere before the river Niger, in between Benue and river Niger. Mr. Nominee, I feel very strong about what I'm saying, which is, of course, to add the needed and required value to the security structure and efforts being put in place by the armed forces. I so advise, also submit. Thank you.
Yes, distinguished Senator Olamileko.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Adeola Solomon Olamileko, representing Ogun West Senatorial District. Mr. President, distinguished colleague, let me also join my colleague in congratulating Mr. Nominee as the new incoming Chief of Naval Staff. Mr. Nominee, my question goes thus. What are the measures do you intend to put in place to curb the sea piracy and maritime crimes so as to improve security along the Nigerian waterways? Thank you.
Thank you. You may proceed some answers.
I will take the questions randomly. Some are related to each other. I will start with the last question asked by distinguished Senator Olamileko, that what measures do I intend to put in place to curb criminalities in the maritime environment? Then, sir, to distinguished Senator Wadada, sir. Quarters in my Benue State, Makurdi, sir. So this is going to be used to challenge that, sir. Thank you, sir. Then, sir, to distinguish Senator Oshomole's questions. There are 3 questions here. I will start with the last one, and that is the issue of Coast Guard, whether there is any need for it. Sir, categorically, I would say we don't need that, because the Nigerian Navy is already doing that with what we have. One of our roles is Coast Guard duties, which is what we are doing. Creating another agency to do that work, it would be a duplication of function. Rather, I would advise that even if it is half of the funds that are going to be used to establish the Coast Guard, it can be used to enhance the platform availability of the Nigerian Navy. So, sir, my take is we don't need to have any Coast Guard. We are already doing that job. Thank you, sir. Then leakages caused by oil theft and illegal bunkering. Sir, we are aware of this, and like I said, most of where these illegalities are happening are hard to reach areas. And I can say those are minimal thefts, but which, if accumulated, amount to a large volume. At least out at sea, we are able to block the usage of large oil tankers, which hitherto were usually anchored. De-radicalizing the repentant criminals is a good way forward, but what of the moral burden? These are people that have killed, have maimed, and been integrated back into the society, to my mind, may remind relatives and family members of those that they have maimed to think in another direction. Those are, to my own opinion, the radicalization of repentant criminals will be looked into and tweaked. And if I may advise, such is done, if families have been identified that have lost their members through those people, there is need to contact them, talk with them if they accept for those people to be granted that amnesty after the radicalization. Then to the first question by distinguished Senator Dafinone, concerns what plans do I have for the Navy in view of the emerging challenges and with relation to other services. Sir, we already have our total spectrum maritime strategy, which covers various areas of our operations. So we are looking at that, and one of the challenges even that we are faced with now is that of kidnapping, banditry, oil theft. So the total spectrum maritime strategy of the Nigerian Navy takes care of these various layers of challenges, and my belief is we cannot do it alone, and hence we have to work together. It is a whole of society approach, and particularly for us, the armed forces, we have to synergize, whether we like it or not. That is the only way out that we can get out of the problems our country is facing. Thank you, sir.
Air Vice Marshal S.K. Aneke, nominee for Chief of Air Staff. You have the floor. Just give you a brief resume of yourself, and you answer one or two questions from our colleagues, and thereafter
will lay their voice to ensure that he is confirmed. I thank you, and I rest my case.
Well, having heard the word of gratitude from his village, from his Umonna, and we can now go back to our work, which is asking questions. Distinguished Senator Nengi, I know he's not from Bauchi, so you are not going to thank.
You're welcome. Mr. Nominee, listen to this. Since
Since Buhari's assumed office in 2015, the Nigerian military has taken delivery of 32 brand new aircrafts. With the latest, and that is the key question.
You mean the latest Buhari, by Buhari? You are not
since Buhari assumed office.
Not Senator Buhari.
In 20, not this one. Since President Buhari
Mr. President for what he has done in I feel is in line with his zeal to bring total security to our nation. And I believe he has done this to strengthen our military. And I'm sure by the nomination of these fine military officers, the military of this country will be better than before. Listening to them, I'm highly convinced. Chief of Naval Staff from Kano. We thank him very much. It is a message from Kano people, and I decided that I should, put forward this message to the President, to the Senate. The people of Kano are really grateful to Mr. President for identifying one of the, even though he's one of the best in the Nigerian military. And we urge all of you, all the nominees, to be loyal to the CNC and loyal to our Constitution. This is the underpinning of military service, loyalty.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Continue.
Like I said, it's not just a professional mandate. It's a bond between the Nigerian Air Force and the great people of Nigeria, which we are here to serve. Coming to the question that I was asked, the Air Force, like I said in my CV, one of the early units I flew in was the Maritime Group in Benin. And some of the challenges being expressed here were the challenges I saw while I was there. But in those days, we didn't have drones and UAVs. So I intend to liaise and synergize with the Navy. Thank God I have a very good working relationship from academy up to this level with the Chief of Naval Staff. And we will try to encourage our subordinates to walk along the same line. If confirmed, I will dedicate myself to building a combat-ready Air Force, one that is operationally versatile, disciplined, and lethal. I use the word lethal, and I use it in a professional sense. Like I said, the man running from you will not have the time to sit down and plan. We intend to keep them busy, sir. My goal is to ensure that the Air Force responds swiftly, strike decisively, and adapt intelligence across the full spectrum of military operations. This will be achieved through rigorous training, professionalism, sound doctrine, robust logistics, and a strong culture, safety culture, and the advancement of research, innovation, air-mindedness across all ranks. And I want to insist on the usage of leveraging technology. And you will see more of unmanned aerial vehicles and drones. Like I said earlier, sir, we intend to fight smartly. When you find yourself in a battle, it's not the strength you have that matters. It is the brain you have that solves the problem. Coming to the questions asked by the very distinguished senators, Senator Abaribe, Senator Uzokalu, Senator Osita, the minority leader, Senator Nengi, and the distinguished Deputy Senate President. First, I'll answer them in no particular order. But aviation is a very expensive business. You might hear the word 1.2 billion. 1.2 billion in the aviation environment is like a spoon fetching out of the ocean. So you might, if you do the calculation of what it takes to train one pilot, you understand the cost both in dollars and naira. Some of these weapons we fire are one missile. Some of the cheapest are as cheap as $100,000. And you fire these things every day. So it is not a business for the chicken-minded when it comes to finance. So please, I solicit your cooperation to use the money intelligently and squeeze the last dollar of the value of what you give us. It doesn't cut across the Air Force alone. It also is the same thing with the Navy and the same thing with the Army. The armed forces is that part of government which you must spend money and hope not to use. If you do not have it, you are a chicken waiting for the hawk to be carried. If you have it, no matter who the person is, you can look the person in the face and take them out. I have served in countries like the United States, and I want to assure you, sir, a Nigerian is a proud person anywhere. Our standards are high. I've flown with Americans, I've flown with people from everywhere, and they respect us. All we need is support. Now, sir, for the Super Tucanos, sir, the Super Tucanos are doing what they've been paid to do. We have young men and women sacrificing their life while people are sleeping. Most of the operation they do, We are giving you value, sir, for your money because the equipment in those Tupa Tucanos are extremely expensive. They are located mostly in the northeast and mostly in the northwest. And every night, these same thousands of dollars of weapons are being fired. Those are the armed forces, especially the Air Force. We cannot come out and show everything we do. But I assure you, sir, those airplanes are flying. You can cross-check, sir. They are flying. It's just the kind of war we are fighting. It is not face me, I face you. So we have to synergize with our brothers in the Army and the Navy. But I assure you, sir, those weapons, you can cross-check me, sir. Because even as far back as yesterday night, I have one of the junior officers that is somebody I'm mentoring. And they are fighting. They are not grounded. They are not grounded, sir. We will, like I said, sir, we'll do more of fighting smartly. Because some of the things, some of these Tupa Tucanos can do, those drones can do them with less danger to your personnel. So I can go on and on and on. And I hope I have, by chance, answered most of the questions that the distinguished senators have asked. But I will conclude by saying, sir, we are here to serve. And we are here with my colleagues to give you the best. We are here to squeeze every dollar, naira you spent on us to ensure we give you value for what you have paid for. Once again, thank you, sir.
Well, distinguished colleagues, is it the view of the Senate that the proposed Chief of Air Staff takes a bow and waits for the executive session? Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Chief, just before the point of order, in terms of time? Okay.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, very distinguished colleagues, I rise pursuant to Order 8.3 of our rules to move for an extension of time for the Senate to sit beyond 3 p.m. to enable us finish the proceedings for the day. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to second the motion that the Senate do extend its time to sit beyond 3 p.m. to continue our procedure. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that this hallowed chamber extends its sitting today beyond 3 p.m. to enable us conclude our screening and confirmation of the service chiefs. Those in support of the motion and move say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Let me now invite the proposed Chief of Air Staff to come forward. If we are to go by what the last speaker educated us on, I have a few takeaways. Number one, that action is taking place on a daily basis, that the armed forces are not sleeping, that Nigerians should be reassured that the evil they see today, they will soon see them no more. We have to go by what he also pointed out. He said that from where he comes from, he can answer some of the questions with proverbs. And one of which is that do not assume that the person you are fighting did not go to school. Don't assume that a person is not educated. don't assume that a person does not know your tricks. It is not your strength, but your brain that will take you out of dangerous situations. You agree with him? Thank you for the summary. No more speeches, but I would like, because of his presence here, I want to recognize the Chief of Defense Intelligence to just step forward, take a bow, and go back to his seat before we move into closed session. Major General. Thank you. Well, I don't need to say more, but when I greeted him, I said, "Great Malabite." Then he answered, "Action." So he believes in action. He doesn't believe in talking. So thank you for joining us in this session. Senate Leader.
Mr. Chairman, very distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I rise at this time to move that the Senate do now go into an executive session to enable us hold.
You're watching live the confirmation screening of the Chief of Defense Staff and the 3 nominees for the position of service chiefs. And the exercise will now proceed in an executive session. That is a closed session because of the sensitive nature of security. NTA